Polygraphs II. Polygraph tests have four basic properties, including reliability, which refers to repeatability. That is, will repeat tests on the same person yield the same results. Validity, if it measures what it is supposed to measure. That is, does the exam in fact produce results to indicate whether the person is telling the truth. Sensitivity, which refers to the percentage of deceptive cases that gives positive results, for example, 90%. For example, a sensitivity of, say, 60% would indicate that the test identifies the false testimony of 6 of 10 untruthful persons. A sensitivity of 95% indicates that 95 out of 100 persons would be so identified. False positive probability indicates the proportion of truly negative, that is, truthful, that give positive results. As an example of the broad concept underlying polygraph tests, consider the results of the glaucoma test shown here, where the x-axis is eye pressure reading and the y-axis the frequency of persons with a given eye pressure being either healthy or having glaucoma. Note that the green curve indicates the distribution of persons who have healthy eyes and the red the distribution with glaucoma, given eye pressure readings. The easy diagnoses are at the extremes, where, for example, all persons with eye pressure to the left of the dashed line at around 12 are all healthy, and all persons to the right of the other dashed line located around 37 all have glaucoma. The challenge is to disentangle the healthy status of the persons who have eye pressure readings in between, which is in fact the majority. Now let's view these two distributions on separate graphs with eye pressure distribution for the healthy group on the bottom and for the glaucoma group on the top. And we set the eye pressure readings of 20 as the threshold for glaucoma as indicated by the dashed line. Now note the following. In the top graph shows the distribution of the glaucoma group. The readings indicate 90% of the unhealthy group shown to the right of the dashed line. These are the true positives. However, it misses 10% of the unhealthy group as shown to the left of the threshold line. These are the false negatives, i.e. they indicate healthy, but in fact they are unhealthy. A big problem is shown in the bottom graphs. The test suggests that half of the healthy people have unhealthy eyes, as shown to the right of the threshold. These are the false positives or false alarms. Only half of the healthy group receives the correct diagnosis, as shown to the left of the threshold. Now suppose we consider the eye pressure distributions as the distributions of the physiological indices generated by truthful and untruthful groups of people. You can see the problem immediately. 10% of the untruthful persons are deemed truthful, and 50% of the truthful persons are deemed untruthful. That would be the false positive. So to summarize the diagnostic outcomes of the polygraph test, we have true positive, that is a deceptive person diagnosed as untruthful, a false positive, an honest person diagnosed as untruthful, true negative, honest person diagnosed as truthful, and a false negative, a deceptive person diagnosed as truthful. The false diagnoses cause the problems. The false positive for honest persons falsely accused, the false negative for the potential spy as being an honest person. Consider this figure, which presents the accuracy index values from 52 data sets from laboratory validation studies. The whiskers extend the largest and smallest values within the 1.5 interquartile ranges. Lower circles indicate values farther out. Note with the shaded area that the outcome of most studies fall within the 80 to 90% accuracy range, which suggests a substantial fraction of false negatives and false positives. Note also that at least one study was no more accurate than a flip of the coin, that is 50%.